Welcome to This Explainer, where we're going to dive right into why our modern sleep habits are just completely mismatched with our biological programming. I mean, have you ever felt like your brain is actively fighting against your own body when you're just trying to get some rest? Well, as we're about to see, the way we try to sleep today is entirely disconnected from how we were actually built to survive.
So let's just paint a picture of this hilarious yet incredibly frustrating modern reality we all live in. Picture it. It is 2 a.m. You're lying in bed, you've got one hand clamped on your phone, and your brain is literally screaming at you to go to sleep because, you have work tomorrow. But your thumb has a mind of its own. 3 hours later, you've somehow loaded your brain with absolute vital information about how sea otters hold hands so they don't drift apart, some incredibly intense Reddit laser tag breakup drama, and a guy building a luxury mud pool in the jungle. We are truly elite at destroying our own sleep. But flashback 30,000 years ago, and things were drastically different. When the sun went down, our ancestors definitely weren't doom-scrolling. They were far too busy trying not to become a leopard's midnight snack in the absolute pitch black.
And we really need to establish our baseline biological reality here. If you took a Homo sapiens and just dropped them into a dark forest 40,000 years ago, biologically speaking, we were a total joke. I mean, we have terrible night vision, zero claws, no fangs, and honestly, we can't even run that fast. We were essentially an anxious, naked chicken nugget just waiting to be eaten. And remember, the dark back then wasn't our modern city dark with streetlights glowing in the distance. It was pitch black, the kind of dark where you wave your hand in front of your face and legitimately wonder if it's still attached to your arm. Out in that darkness were wolves, hyenas, cave lions, rival tribes. We were incredibly, terrifyingly vulnerable.
Because of that, before they could even think about closing their eyes for the night, ancient humans needed a rock-solid defense system. And their ultimate weapon wasn't a stone spear. It was fire. Fire was the ultimate multi-tool. It wasn't just there to cook dinner. It was your flashlight, your heater, to survive the freezing cold, your bug spray, a literal security fence keeping those cave lions away, and, surprisingly enough, a free therapy session for a highly anxious mind.
Actually, the psychological impact of that fire is super fascinating. Think about it. Why is it that you can stare at a modern campfire for hours on end and just feel totally at peace? Well, studies actually show that watching moving flames physically lowers your blood pressure and induces a state of relaxation that's almost identical to deep meditation. And that is absolutely no accident. Hundreds of thousands of years of evolution essentially hardwired your brain to equate fire with survival. Even today, your brain looks at those flames and goes, okay, there's fire, we're safe, we aren't dead yet.
But fire did way more than just keep us alive. It gave us something totally unprecedented: extra hours in the day. Before we controlled fire, when the sun set, your day was just done. Daylight was for not dying, hunting, foraging, fixing tools. But at night, safely tucked behind a wall of flames, we finally had the time to do beautiful, completely useless things. We could think, imagine, gossip, tell stories. In fact, a lot of anthropologists believe that complex language and human culture basically sparked into existence during these midnight gossip sessions. Those stories around the fire, that was the OG YouTube, Netflix, and Wikipedia of the Stone Age. Being a content creator is actually the oldest profession in the world, just with ancient hooks like, okay guys, you will not believe what I just saw in the woods today.
Right, so they're hanging out by the fire, but what about the actual sleeping arrangements? Did they just collapse on a pile of dirt? Absolutely not. Down in Subadu Cave in South Africa, archaeologists dug up highly engineered mattresses that are a staggering 77,000 years old, and they were meticulously built in distinct layers. Step 1 was a solid base of ash, which insulated them from the cold stone, deterred bugs, and killed parasites. Step 2 was a thick layer of grass and reeds for actual comfort. And Step 3, the top sheet basically, was made of very specific leaves that acted as a natural insect repellent.
Which honestly highlights kind of a hilarious contrast with our lives today. Your ancestors were out there crafting organic, perfectly balanced anti-mosquito mattresses 77 millennia ago. Meanwhile, today, armed with all our advanced chemical bug sprays and zappers, we are still completely losing the war against mosquitoes. It's wild. On top of that, our ancestors were absolute clean freaks. Instead of doing a light, modern spring cleaning, they practiced extreme deep cleaning. When a bed got gross, they would literally burn the entire mattress to a crisp to kill off the bacteria and just build a fresh one from scratch.
So they had the beds figured out, but get ready for a massive plot twist regarding how they actually slept in them. Today, we all completely stress out about getting this perfect, uninterrupted 8-hour block of sleep. But that rigid schedule, it's completely unnatural. Before the Industrial Revolution came along, humans rocked a biphasic sleep schedule, meaning they'd go to bed right after sunset and sleep for about 4 hours. That's phase 1.
Then they would wake up right in the middle of the night for an hour or two, and after that, they'd go back to sleep for phase 2 until the sun came up.
Waking up in the middle of the night wasn't an issue. It was perfectly normal. During that midnight wakefulness block, our ancestors would hang out, chat, pray, throw some more wood on the fire, or, ensure the family tree kept growing. It was just a regular part of daily life. But today, if you pop awake at 3 a.m. and start obsessively overthinking why your crush didn't text you back in 2018, modern medicine slaps a sleep disorder label on it. But your body isn't actually broken. It's just that the Industrial Revolution invented rigid factory shifts and loud alarm clocks, forcing us to compress all our sleep into one chunk so we could show up for work. Simply put, your nervous system is still running on Stone Age software, but you live in a Wi-Fi-enabled apartment.
So, let's actually use this idea of Stone Age software to answer a few rapid-fire questions about our weirdest modern sleep quirks. Starting with the classic. Why do so many of us absolutely rely on looping rain sounds on Spotify or white noise machines just to finally drift off to sleep?
Well, the answer lines up perfectly with our core survival instincts. Back in the Stone Age, a heavy rainstorm naturally masked your scent, and the noise covered the sound of your movements. It basically meant that all those terrifying predators out roaming the dark forest couldn't track you. So today, when you hear rain, your primitive nervous system instantly registers it as a signal that you are safe from being hunted, finally giving your body permission to completely relax.
Okay, next question. This same biological programming fully explains our sleeping arrangements. Why is it that you can feel incredibly safe and sleepy next to someone, a partner, a friend, heck, even a golden retriever? But the second you have to sleep entirely alone in a completely silent room, you get super anxious.
Once again, your Stone Age brain is running the show here. Think back to our anxious, naked chicken nugget in the woods. Isolation meant certain death. Sleeping in a group provided literal safety in numbers against anything trying to eat you. Your biology still inherently prefers the presence of others because, historically speaking, being completely alone in the quiet dark was quite literally the most dangerous position you could possibly be in.
And then, of course, there is the ultimate modern sleep killer, technology. We all inherently know we really shouldn't doom scroll in bed, but why exactly does staring at glowing LED lights at midnight so thoroughly ruin our ability to fall asleep?
Because we are actively tricking our own biological programming. Your brain sees that incredibly bright blue light beaming out from your phone or your tablet, and it literally thinks, oh cool, the sun is inside my room right now. That artificial light actively suppresses your natural sleep hormones because, to your deeply ancient brain, bright light means it is still daytime, and daytime is for hunting and surviving, absolutely not for resting.
And while we're inside that ancient brain, just think about how they must have processed dreams. Imagine living 40,000 years ago. Every single night you fall asleep and you just disappear into your own head for hours. Dead relatives show up to visit you, weird monsters chase you, you travel to completely bizarre places that don't even exist, and then you wake up and there's zero neuroscience or modern psychology to explain what on earth just happened. To ancient humans, dreams weren't just brain static. They were seen as literal portals to another dimension. The strict line we draw between waking reality and the dream world, it simply didn't exist for them.
Which really brings us to what might be the ultimate kind of hilarious paradox of human history. Just think about it for a second. Our ancient ancestors lived in a world of constant, literal deadly danger. They had zero hospitals, no deadbolts on their cave doors, definitely no air conditioning, and a distinct lack of cooling memory foam mattresses. Yet, they slept exactly when their bodies needed to, woke up when they naturally wanted to, and lived in absolutely perfect sync with the planet's rhythms. Fast forward to today, statistically speaking, we are the safest humans to ever walk the Earth. We have ultimate comfort. Yet here we are, perfectly safe in our temperature-controlled rooms, staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., completely unable to just turn our brains off.
Which leaves us with one really provocative thought to wrap up this explainer. We really have to ask ourselves, are our modern comforts, our glowing phones, our highly structured 8-hour sleep demands, our artificial lights, are they actually the very things breaking our biological rhythm? We spend so much time and money trying to optimize our sleep, but maybe the secret isn't downloading a new sleep tracking app or buying a fancier mattress. Just maybe, the real secret to finally getting some rest is unlearning all our modern habits and just listening to the Stone Age software that's still running inside us.